Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of In the Know Crypto. I'm your host, Clarence Thomas, and today let's talk about some comments that Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak made where he's absolutely bullish on Bitcoin, and he referred to it as a mathematical miracle. And so before we jump into that, let's go and take a quick look at the charts today, or I'm sorry, the market as a whole, the prices, really overall sideways. Terra Luna once again is having another great run, up over 11% at the time recording this video. Most everything sideways, a little up, but mostly really sideways. Bitcoin continues to hold right at that $38,000 level. But the fear and greed index continues to go down. It was 23 yesterday, which is still extreme fear, and it's 21 today. So still a lot of fear in the markets. Again, I believe in the not so distant future, there will be amazing opportunities in the alts. Could be wrong. Something could happen and everything could just turn around. I'm on the sidelines myself, not financial advice, just what I'm doing. But particularly Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think at these levels are still excellent buys, even if they continue to drop. I think great prices, under 40,000 for Bitcoin, well under 3,000 for Ethereum. So excellent buys. Again, not financial advice, but if you've been someone on the sideline wanting to get in, dip your toes in, I would say those two projects. And now I continue to pound the table and say that. So anyway, in a recent interview that Steve Wozniak had, and again, he's the co-founder of Apple. He calls Bitcoin pure gold mathematics, and of course the reasons why it could be here to stay, right? So a couple of things with this, and again, it says here is praising the underlying technology and calculations underpin the best on cryptocurrency, and here it says the most amazing mathematical miracle. Now, he does go on to say, right, which is I think to no surprise for anyone that's been in crypto for any amount of time. However, Wozniak remarked during the interview with Market Insider that there could be many rip-offs among new crypto projects and NFTs, non-fungible tokens, whose overseers may be unscrupulous people. No shit, that's the understatement. That's been around for a very long time. I mean, just look. There are over 18,000 cryptos in existence. In 2017, even 2018, when I got in, there were 3,300, 3,500. Then many were rug pulls, meaning where you have a project that they come out with a great white paper. They talk about all the great things they're going to do, and then they're able to use platforms to crowdfund. The beauty of crypto, right? But people use that to crowdfund, and then they just run off with the money, basically, right? And also there are a lot of very well-meaning teams, very well-meaning leaders that launch crypto projects that just fail. Most are going to go to zero. That's just the nature of business. Most internet companies failed. Most small businesses failed within the first 5 years. So that's obvious, but yeah, there are a lot of scams, which is why I've never invested in a startup. I think there's way too many great projects that have proven themselves that when the time is right, that you're able to buy into those, and you know what you're buying into, right? Anyway, just my 2 cents, right? My 2 satoshis. But yeah, I mean, of course, there could be a lot of unscrupulous people, as he said. So That's nothing new. That has been in crypto for a very, very long time now, particularly since the start of initial coin offerings, ICOs in 2017 and beyond. So yeah, so enough about that. I think we'll move on and talk about this CoinDesk article that says Credit Suisse strategist says we're witnessing the birth of a new world monetary order. I would definitely agree, and goes on to say that Bitcoin may be the beneficiary. I believe it is. Very, very, very wholeheartedly, right? And so what he goes on to talk about, and he says here, this crisis is not like anything we have seen since President Richard Nixon took the U.S. dollar off of gold in 1971. And so for anyone that doesn't know, in August 15th, 1971, Richard Nixon ended Bretton Woods Agreement, right? Where the dollar, the United States dollar, was backed by gold. Now, going even further back, since 1944, the dollar replaced the British pound to become the world reserve currency, meaning that it is the universally recognized medium of exchange, money, right, to conduct business internationally. So someone from South Africa is ordering a container of goods from India. Many times, most times, that's quoted in dollars. In fact, more than 80% of all world trade is conducted in dollars, over 80%. So that's where the U.S. dollar took over as reserve currency. So again, fast forwarding, August 15, 1971, the dollar was still and continues to be a world reserve currency, but again, that was backed by $1 was backed by a set amount of gold. So in essence, it was like saying, hey, this dollar bill in my hand, it's kind of like a check, right, out of a checkbook, to where that, how a check represents dollars in the bank. The U.S. dollar originally, in the British pound, going back several hundred years, in the French currency, the Dutch currency, the Portuguese currency, and etc., right? But where the dollar represented a set amount of gold in the reserves, right? And so we ran out of money. We couldn't pay our bills. And President Richard Nixon said, well, hey, we owe all this money. Well, hell, we owe dollars. I can give you dollars. Hell, I got a printer right here. And so we ended the Bretton Woods Agreement and then said, okay, the dollar is strong enough to stay on its own, right? Not really. But so it's going to back by gold, and we're just going to print money to pay our bills. And that's what we did, right? Which is actually precisely what the Germans did following World War I. That's what the French did in 1791. History doesn't often repeat, but it definitely rhymes. And so we started printing money, at a lot of money, and we had extreme. In fact, in 1980, the official consumer price index was 14%. Right now, it's 7%. But if you go buy ground beef in the grocery store and tell me it grew by 7%, hell no, it's like 25, 30% and beyond, right? So that's an overall average of everything of what consumers buy. So, but back then it was even higher. And in fact, the percentage, like since March of 2020, since COVID, well, I probably can't see that, get demonetized, but since the pandemic, right? We printed at least 40% of all dollars in existence didn't exist prior to the pandemic. At that time, there was a period of time where it was like 160% of money was printed. So percentage-wise, even more money was printed in the 70s, which is why in 1980 we had double-digit inflation. 14% was the official number, which meant it was much, much higher than that. But anyway, very, very good article. I'll link all these articles always in the description below. And so finishing up here, CEO or Visa CEO still uncertain on crypto's role. Now, I think from reading into it, CoinDesk and maybe a little sensational, He said crypto's role in the Western world, but we'll go on to read. It says, payment giant Visa intends to continue to build out its crypto platform, right? So they're still building out the crypto platform, whatever that means. But it says, he goes to say, what problem are we trying to solve? Said Kelly, adding his voice to the many, oftentimes heard criticism of, hey, crypto is a solution in search of a problem, right? And now here's the part I really want to dive in. While cryptocurrencies may be quite useful in emerging markets where cash can be dangerous, Kelly said he's unsure of the role in nations like the U.S. and Canada. Okay, there's a lot to unpack in this specific thing, right? And I don't know, obviously. I would like to hear the interview or see all of what he said and compare that against the interpretation by CoinDesk. But what I'll say is, okay, in the Western world, a lot of what crypto solves makes life a little better, right? Some of it's tremendous. Like I financed my house here. I use Celsius Network. In fact, I'm going to be coming out with a video about why I love Celsius. I was able to use my Bitcoin as collateral. I took out a $400,000 loan to pay for this house. I paid $333 a month on that loan. That's amazing, okay? That by itself answers this question, by itself, okay? But there are about 3 billion people on planet Earth that don't have access to even basic loan services, banking services, right? And so, okay, I say that I took out my loan. I paid substantially less. I still could have gone here to probably Banco Popular here, which is the most popular bank in Puerto Rico. I still could have gone and taken out a loan, right, and did a traditional 30-year mortgage. There are about 3 billion people, nearly half of the world's population, that can't do that. That's just that piece. Let alone transferring money borderless. Now, that's just the money piece. Digital identities, right? Those same 3 billion people don't have economic identity. They don't have official they don't have official documents that cannot be manipulated for land title, driver's license, degrees, several different things, right? Voting. And so there's so much more. The biggest part of crypto right now, and probably the lion's share, is money, but that is, again, a small piece. So let's just go to voting. Let's say the United States and the Western world, right? You get issued a non-fungible token, an NFT, right? It's not just some pretty art with an ape sitting there smoking a damn cigar. A non-fungible token is just that. It is a unique identifier where there's nothing like it on planet Earth. It's the only one. It's unique, like a fingerprint, right? And so an individual gets issued their own specific NFT that shows who they are, to where they have an actual online identity, right? Then these individuals can vote. They say, well, we don't have a voting problem. Bullcrap. Look what happened recently with Trump, with the mail-in ballots and all the chaos behind that. Go back when George Bush ran for president. I think it was against Al Gore, don't quote me. But during that election where you had the Florida ballots, where some were lost, and I don't even remember. I was very young then. That's 2 major instances over the last couple of decades in just the United States. Not to mention Africa, Southeast, the whole entire developing world, right, where corruption runs rampant. So you can actually place votes in a transparent manner. That is massive. That by itself is massive. Just the voting piece. Supply chains, very massive. Now, supply chains, because you have so many players, so many stakeholders, if you will. When a container of goods is shipped from one part of the world to the other part of the world, that there's silos of documentation that could be manipulated, right? So you have, let's say, food that's being shipped that has to be at 41 degrees Celsius, and people can pencil whip that. They can just write in whatever on a document. But VeChain has a mechanism to where that's able to ping, get the actual temperature and record that on the blockchain, right? That's why Walmart China in 2019, maybe even before, I think it was 2019, for sure, that Walmart China began using VeChain for its supply chain solution. So there's a hell of a lot more than just what the CEO of Visa is talking about. Now, again, his perspective, of course, has to do with financial services. Blockchain and crypto assets is way, way, way beyond that. So anyway, a little bit of a rant, but crypto's not going anywhere. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap it up now. We're approaching the 16-minute mark. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. As always, stay in the know and stay crypto. Thank you. Bye.